The Great Colosseum of Zephyria stretched across 3 kilometers of crystalline architecture, its translucent walls humming with energy shields that could contain the most devastating of battles. Representatives from across the galaxy had gathered for the Centennial Combat Championships, where each world would demonstrate their finest warriors and most advanced fighting techniques. The stakes were higher than mere glory. The winning civilization would earn territorial rights to the resource-rich Andromeda sector. Commander Vextar of the Kytherian Empire lounged in his observation pod, his 6 arms casually manipulating holographic displays showing the combat statistics of various participants. His species had dominated galactic warfare for 3 centuries, their bio-enhanced soldiers capable of lifting starship engines and moving faster than most species could perceive. The reptilian commander's scaled face twisted into what passed for a smirk among his kind. "Look at this pathetic entry," Vextar announced to his fellow commanders, his voice carrying the authority of countless victories. "The humans of Earth have submitted a single representative. One warrior to represent an entire planet." The viewing pods erupted in a chorus of alien laughter. General Throck of the Silicon Horde, whose warriors were constructed from living metal and quantum processors, transmitted his amusement through electromagnetic pulses. Perhaps they misunderstood the registration process. His synthesized voice crackled through the arena's communication systems. High Admiral Zilla of the Plasma Dynasty examined the human's profile through her compound eyes. No enhanced genetics, no cybernetic implants, no energy manipulation abilities. The creature doesn't even carry advanced weaponry, just primitive metal blades and some kind of fabric covering. The assembled galactic elite continued their mockery as preliminary matches began. Warriors from hundreds of worlds demonstrated their prowess, crystalline beings who could restructure matter at the molecular level, energy entities that phased between dimensions, and biomechanical hybrids that regenerated from near-complete destruction. Each display of power was met with appreciative murmurs and tactical analysis from the viewing pods. When Earth's turn arrived, a collective silence fell over the arena, not from respect, but from bewilderment. The human who entered the combat zone appeared impossibly ordinary by galactic standards. Dressed in dark, form-fitting clothing that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, the figure moved with a fluid grace that was almost hypnotic. No flashy energy emissions, no intimidating size, no visible weapons beyond what appeared to be decorative metal pieces tucked into the outfit. "Is this some kind of joke?" wheezed Ambassador Glurp of the Methane Confederation, his tentacles writhing with amusement. "They've sent what appears to be a maintenance worker." The ninja, for that was indeed what this human represented, stood motionless in the center of the arena, seemingly unbothered by the chorus of alien laughter echoing from the viewing pods. The figure's breathing was so controlled it appeared the human wasn't breathing at all, and their posture suggested a coiled energy that the observers couldn't quite comprehend. Vextar decided to make an example of this presumptuous little world. "Send in Gordhak the Destroyer," he commanded. "Let's end this embarrassment quickly." Gordhak materialized in the arena through a teleportation beam, his massive form casting shadows across the crystalline floor. Standing 4 meters tall and weighing nearly a ton, the bio-enhanced warrior was a fusion of organic muscle and mechanical augmentation. His arms ended in plasma cannons capable of melting through battleship armor, and his legs could propel him at speeds that broke sound barriers. Dozens of sensor arrays covered his skull, giving him 360-degree awareness and the ability to track targets across multiple dimensions. The betting pools among the spectators became unanimous. How long would the human last? The over-under was set at 4.7 seconds. Gordhak raised his plasma cannons, energy building to lethal levels. The distinctive whine of charging weapons filled the arena as targeting lasers painted the ninja's position. Just as the destroyer's fingers moved to trigger the fatal blast, something impossible happened. The human vanished. Not teleported, the arena's sensors would have detected dimensional displacement. Not cloaked, energy readings showed no technological interference. The ninja had simply ceased to exist in that location, reappearing behind Gordhak in the span of a heartbeat. The massive warrior spun with mechanical precision, but found only empty air. The ninja had moved again, this time to Gordhak's left, then right, then above. A pattern of movement that defied the observer's understanding of physics and biology. "Enhanced speed genetics," muttered General Throck, rapidly analyzing the data streams. No genetic modifications detected, came the response from the arena's monitoring systems. What followed redefined the spectators' understanding of combat. The ninja flowed around Gorthak's attacks like water around stone, each movement economical and purposeful. When the destroyer's plasma beams carved trenches in the arena floor, the ninja was elsewhere, not through superhuman speed, but through an almost supernatural ability to predict and counter every assault. The first touch came as a gentle tap to Gorthak's primary sensory cluster. The massive warrior stumbled, his targeting systems flickering. The second contact, a precise pressure applied to what appeared to be a randomly chosen point on his torso, caused his left arm to spasm uncontrollably. With each subsequent touch, delivered with the lightness of falling snow, another system failed. The watching commanders leaned forward in their pods, their mockery replaced by intense scrutiny. This wasn't brute force or advanced technology, this was something else entirely, something that operated on principles they didn't recognize. The ninja's hands moved in brief, controlled bursts of motion, each contact point carefully chosen. Gorthak, despite possessing enough firepower to level city blocks and armor that had withstood direct hits from fusion bombs, found himself systematically dismantled by touches so gentle they barely registered on his damage sensors. Within minutes, the mighty destroyer collapsed, not from devastating injury but from precise manipulation of his biomechanical systems. His consciousness faded as pressure points unknown to galactic science were activated in sequence, shutting down his enhanced physiology like a computer being properly powered down. The arena fell silent except for the low hum of energy fields. The ninja stood over the fallen giant, breathing as calmly as when the match began, not even perspiring despite having just defeated one of the galaxy's most feared warriors. Commander Vextar's 6 hands trembled as he accessed his tactical databases. "What manner of technology allows such precision?" he whispered. The ninja's voice carried clearly across the arena's acoustic systems, calm and steady, no technology. Only understanding. High Admiral Zilla's compound eyes focused with laser intensity. Understanding of what? Flow of energy. Pressure points. The way force moves through any body, organic or mechanical. Your warrior is powerful, but power without balance becomes weakness. The implications struck the observers like a physical blow. Everything they knew about combat was based on overwhelming force, advanced technology, or biological enhancement. This human had achieved victory through pure knowledge. Understanding of principles that apparently transcended the conventional categories of strength and weaponry. As more challengers entered the arena, each certain they could solve the puzzle the human presented, the same pattern repeated. Crystalline warriors who could restructure matter found their molecular bonds disrupted by precisely applied pressure. Energy beings discovered that their plasma forms had vulnerable nodes that, when touched, caused cascading system failures. Biomechanical hybrids learned that their regeneration capabilities could be turned against them with proper manipulation of their healing processes. The ninja moved through opponent after opponent, never using more force than necessary, never appearing to struggle or strain. Each victory was achieved through understanding rather than dominance, technique rather than power. As the final challenger fell, the arena's energy fields powered down. The human stood alone in the center of the crystalline floor, surrounded by the incapacitated forms of the galaxy's most feared warriors. The viewing pods had long since fallen silent, their occupants struggling to process what they had witnessed. Commander Vextar rose slowly from his observation pod, his scaled features showing something that hadn't appeared there in centuries: respect. "The Andromeda sector," he announced, his voice carrying across the arena, "belongs to Earth." The ninja bowed respectfully to the assembled galactic representatives, then began the long walk toward the arena's exit. As the figure disappeared into the shadowed corridors beyond, whispers began among the observers. Not of laughter or mockery, but of a new understanding that somewhere in the galaxy, on a small blue world they had dismissed as primitive, warriors existed who had mastered something far more dangerous than any weapon or enhancement. They had mastered themselves.